Howdy, howdy. We have a lot to get done today. We're doing a 34-hour reset up here in Fargo, North Dakota. We've got a long week to catch you up on and a lot of chores to do today. Some of those going to be weather dependent, but it should be pretty interesting. And hopefully we can get those done because we've got a couple cosmetic upgrades to do to the truck today. So stick around. Alright, so just like at the beginning of the video, what we talked about, I'm going to walk you through my day. But also I'm going to catch you up on this week because I was just flat tired. It was a long week. I kind of busted it. And then also I wanted to give everybody time to watch that last video and take part in the subscriber giveaway. So congratulations to everybody that won. I appreciate you taking part in that. And just to go over one more time, the winners of the competition or the giveaway were Trucker Mandy, Craig D, Justin Roberts, Mike White, and Bama Boy Trucking. All you have to do is email me at driventrucking@yahoo.com. 2 of you guys have already emailed me. I appreciate it. I'll be getting back to you very, very soon. But I knew that it was going to be a long day. So the first thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to go grab a bite to eat. So on a recommendation, I went inside to the Dolly Downs restaurant and ordered the Bison Burger. And it was actually really, really good. Bison is something, I've had it before, and it's usually pretty easy to dry out, but this was not that, and it was very, very good. So go get yourself some Tatanka. And I'm glad that I went inside and ate because it felt like I was just running back and forth, and back and forth, and back all day long. I was just running all over the place. Fargo is a great spot to get stuff done. You know, easy access to a lot of great restaurants, a couple bars, and there's a Walmart that's not too terribly far away, so great spot. But the first thing on the list was I had to get a PM done. I ran a little bit longer than what I prefer to run my PMs at, and I got about 6.9 miles to the gallon this last PM. And so that being in that 7 mile per gallon range, I like to do my PMs when I'm getting that kind of fuel mileage at about 15,000 miles. Unfortunately, this time I ran it up to 17,000 miles. I won't get into why I didn't do it last week. I was near a Speedco, but I called him up and then didn't want to go over there. Leave it at that. So I went and got a PM. And then immediately after, I went and got the truck washed. Yes, I do wash my truck every once in a while, guys. It was a great day. It was beautiful. I know in the beginning of the video, it was kind of weather dependent, but that all cleared out and it turned out to be a gorgeous day. So as I alluded to in the introduction, I wanted to get the truck washed because I have a couple cosmetic upgrades that I wanted to do. First, I wanted to put on these vent screens, and take note, that is a screwdriver. Yes, I do own some tools, and I do some of the work on my truck myself, just not always. But in this case, it was super simple. You just pop them off. They're held on by clips, and I popped those new ones on, and really pleased with how that turned out. So after that, I wanted to put on the hub kit that I purchased, and I couldn't wait to put these on. You know, the old ones kept flying off. I couldn't keep them on there, and especially since I was pulling, you know, the majority of them off and putting them back on. My back axle is a tag axle, and it's actually fitted with an axle that needs hub oil. So I do have to put hub oil in my very back axle back there. All this work, I kept tearing up these gloves. I really love these gloves because they're really easy to pop on. And keep your hands nice and clean, and keep those other gloves for other uses, but these are great whenever just, you know, doing some light work around the truck, but kept tearing that thumb out. But anyway, I was really happy with how everything turned out, how everything looks. You know, I wanted to do that upgrade. I wanted to put these on specifically because the lug nut covers screw on and they hold everything in place. So these are going to be, they're going to last a long time, and they look good. So super excited about the way that those came out. So after I did all of that, I wanted to do a load of laundry. I like to try and keep on top of that, even though that is by far my least favorite chore out here. Ugh. But it's something that needs to be done, so I did go inside and take care of a load of laundry. And, you know, at the same time, cleaned up. It was a long day, but it was a great day. And enjoyed getting outside, working on the truck, getting all of the stuff done, being productive. Being productive is always a good thing, and it makes you feel good inside. But as for the last week, there was, you probably saw it in some of the B-roll, that I had a couple spools up front, and then I had some crates in the back. And the original load was a complete load full of those reels of cable. And grabbed those somewhere in North Carolina. I don't remember exactly where. But the first drop was over in Columbia, Missouri. And upon getting there, which I really just had to book it and couldn't waste any time, well, we had the blowout that I haven't exactly discussed yet. So let's talk about that. Yeah, that blowout was pretty crazy. I wound up, I went through a scale, and I was gonna fuel up over there at the Petro in Mebane, not sure how to say that, but I'm gonna call it Mebane. So I was about 3 miles away, I think, and rolled through the scale, and everything was gravy at that point. So sometime between that scale and me getting fuel over there at the Petro is when that tire blew. And never heard it, never felt it. Normally you can, maybe because it's a smaller tire, only a 17.5 as opposed to most trailers have 22.5s on them. Maybe that's why I didn't hear it or feel anything, but you know, I actually found it whenever I walked back upon putting fuel in the truck. I was walking back doing my securement check, and I noticed that the light was on, so I was like, great. And as I walked back there, you could just hear it just constantly going, and I was like, yep, that ain't good. Poked my head up under there, and it looked like just the tire was just destroyed. So glad I didn't drive far on that, because who knows what kind of damage that would have done if that had gotten ripped off or tangled up. But something to note, originally when I bought my trailer, you know, I did some research, because the worst thing about the low pro step decks, or kind of a complaint that most guys had or have, is the tire situation. And I did some research. I mean, I felt like I looked into a lot of tires whenever I bought the truck, and all the speed rating that I could find on these tires was 62 miles per hour. Well, at this Petro, there was a tire shop, I don't know, it's like 8 miles up the road, and I didn't really want to chance it driving over there. I was pretty heavy back there, and so I didn't want to chance it. So I just went in there and saw what they had, asked what they had. They told me they had one Bridgestone and they had one Continental. The Continental was like 50 bucks more, so I said, I'll take the Bridgestone, please. And they put the Bridgestone on, and I was doing some research as they were putting it on, and turns out all the specs are the same for this Bridgestone. I think it's an R238, and the Michelins that came with the trailer were the XTA2s. So they're one of the top of the line tires for this trailer, but the Michelins were rated at 62. All the specs were the same, you know, 18 ply. The diameter is actually a little bit smaller on the Bridgestone, which to me I would think that the speed rating would be lower, but as it turns out, the speed rating is higher on this Bridgestone. The one that was put on the trailer is rated at 65 miles per hour. And then I found another Bridgestone that's actually rated at 68 miles per hour. So I'm really happy about that, that I'll be able to eventually, whenever I replace those tires, which is hopefully in the distant future after I've gotten really good wear out of these Michelins, we'll see. I'm just gonna replace everything for a faster tire. So that was the situation. You know, nothing major happened. Thankfully, you know, it happened very close to where I swapped out those tires. So, and yes, I know I need to buy one and carry it with me. That is planned for the future. But Anyway, so we headed over to Columbia, knocked those off on Friday. Barely made it, but we made it. Drove on down to Oak Grove, stayed the night in Oak Grove, and met a gentleman. Man, I apologize, I actually don't think I ever got your name, but it was nice meeting you and nice chatting it up with you. So I told him that I was there and kind of looking around and looking to see what I could buy. And I bought the hub covers because, well, I needed those. I don't like my hubs being unprotected like that, and that I felt like that was a need. So we took care of that. But while I was there, I hopped on the load board, and this is what I'm talking about in the title when it says how I increased one of my loads by $700. Well, I found a partial that I could pick up, and it was running from Kansas City area up to Minneapolis. Now, what I had on me, the 3 reels that you saw earlier, those are running up to Fargo. But I've also booked my next load, which is running out of Minneapolis and shooting down to Phoenix. It's paying pretty well. That's lots of miles. So I wanted to take that. I didn't want to take the chance of trying to book LTLs right out of the gate, just kind of booking full partial loads. I don't feel quite comfortable doing something like that yet, even though I know that that's kind of LTL territory and there's a lot up there, so you can generally put together some pretty nice loads. I just didn't want to risk it. This load was paying really well, and so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna call up that broker that had that hay last time and see if I can grab another one of those. We'll see. But anyway, so I saw that this load was headed over to Minneapolis, called up the broker, asked them if they would either load it late Friday, I could head right over there, or I can be there first thing in the morning, which would have been Saturday. They were great with Saturday, so I increased the revenue on that load by $700, and I didn't even go out of route. Maybe 10 miles. I don't consider that out of route. So everything worked out really, really well. That's something that I certainly plan to do moving forward and just continuing this trend. And hopefully it works out a lot in the future, because adding stuff like that, adding those little partials, trying to take up the entire trailer is something that I do. I constantly do it, but I don't always get to do it. So, it worked out this time, and it was great because what was headed up there was really, really light. So doing really well on the fuel mileage. That's always nice as well. But keeping an eye on those load boards, I did find it on the DAT board and was very, very pleased with that. I was looking for Tarp Loads because I want to use them. I want to see how they are. I want to give you guys some feedback. Haven't been able to find them, so we'll see. Hopefully, if I can get one of those hay loads, that's going to be full tarp, and I'll get to use all of them, so that'll be exciting. Cross your fingers for that. Put that out in the universe for me. That would be wonderful. But that was my day on Sunday, and that kind of catches you up for the week. It's been good so far. Little bonus, little cherry on top of that other load. Hopefully we can continue that trend. Hopefully that becomes a trend. The one headed down to Arizona, I don't know, supposedly it's 45,000 pounds, and it's crypts of cement, or cement crypts, not sure. We'll find out in the morning. But anyway, I appreciate you sticking around with me. Hopefully you guys can scour those load boards for those partials and fill up your trailers, so that way you can maximize your money, maximize your profits out here on the spot market. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and don't forget, as always, stay driven.